So I'd like to give you a taste of what I mean and read a very short passage from the book. Okay, the subtitle of this chapter is Donna Howard Talks to the Press and Becomes a Pariah, January 1996. It was dark by the time Donna Howard pulled into her driveway, but she could see the black Lincoln Continental parked on the side of the road, an anomaly in her working-class neighborhood of beat-up pickup trucks. She knew the two men sitting inside the car were federal agents because one of them had called her earlier that day at the hospital. He said he was from the U.S. Postal Service, investigating the possibility of mail fraud. Howard didn't quite know what that meant, and she was afraid to ask. The man sounded friendly enough. Could he drop by this evening to talk to her? Aghast that a law enforcement agent had called her at work, how did he know her number anyway? Donna tried to quell the queasiness surging up her throat. This was the last thing she needed right now. Thinking fast, Howard told him she had to take her daughter for a doctor's appointment and wouldn't be home until after 7 p.m. That's okay, the agent said. We don't mind the late hour. Howard's cottage was isolated, a quarter-mile from the nearest neighbor. When she first saw the Continental parked on the side of the road, she had to resist an impulse to turn around and drive madly away. Instead, she took a deep breath and told Maria, in as light a tone as she could muster, "We've got visitors. I was expecting them." As she emerged from the car, the two men got out of theirs. The older man looked to be in his 50s. He was heavy-set and balding. When he introduced himself, Howard recognized his voice. He was the one who had called her. The other man, who was probably in his 40s with a crew cut. A Secret Service type, Howard thought shakily as she ushered the two men inside and invited them to sit down at her kitchen table. Her new puppy, Hudson, a spaniel collie mix, barked excitedly and ran circles around the room. Maria, who was on a new medication and not feeling well, said she was going to bed. Howard walked her to her room and gave the puppy some food. Then she poured herself and the two agents some water and sat down at the table. The men wanted to know all about the accusations leveled against Martin Keller in the Brown Psychiatry Department in a page-one story I had written for the Boston Globe a few weeks earlier. Headlined, "State paid school $218,000 on falsely billed DMH study." The January 1996 article described how the Massachusetts Department of Mental Health had been paying Brown Psychiatry Department hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund research that wasn't being conducted. As Donna Howard wearily answered the agent's questions, she wondered, not for the first time, how she had gotten into this mess. She thought she had done the right thing by telling Alice Tangradi-Hannon, the Director of Research Administration for Brown, of her concerns. For weeks afterwards, Howard heard nothing. Then one evening, Tangradi-Hannon called her at home. She said she had gone to the dean of the medical school with the information Donna had given her, but the dean had told her to let it go. All they had here, he insisted, was a bunch of disgruntled employees. Tangradi-Hannon told Howard that she was sorry. There was nothing more she could do. Shortly after that conversation, Howard started looking in earnest for another job. She could already sense a freeze in Carolyn O'Sullivan's attitude toward her. Despite her fears that Keller was on to her, the memos and faxes that Howard had unearthed in the file room at Duncan ate away at her. She hated the thought that a prestigious academic institution might be benefiting at the expense of indigent people with mental illness. So in mid-November, as the trees bared their limbs and the sandy beaches near her home turned cold, Howard steeled herself and called the city desk at the Boston Globe. Someone there took down her name and number, but no one called back. She tried again. This time the message was forwarded to me, and I returned her call. Now, it was late January, and here she was, sitting at her own kitchen table with two formidable-looking federal agents asking her the strangest questions. She felt as if she were the suspect in a gruesome murder trial. "So what kind of car does Dr. Keller drive?" the heavy-set agent asked. Howard stared at him in disbelief. "I have no idea," she said. She explained that she worked across campus from Keller and very rarely saw him. "Do you know what his wife does?" "No." The agent scratched his balding head and looked at his companion. The younger man, who had been occupied tossing a drool-covered ball to Hudson, shrugged. Mrs. Howard, what possessed you to copy all these documents and give them to a reporter?" the older man finally asked. Howard told him what she had told me, that she cared deeply about the welfare of patients with mental illness and had been outraged to learn that at a time of major cutbacks in services, all this money seemed to be disappearing into the coffers of a wealthy institution. By the time the agents left, close to 10 p.m., they were joking about her puppy's ball-fetching skills. They thanked Howard for her time and drove away. As she watched their big black car recede into the darkness, Donna Howard hoped fervently that these were the last federal agents she would ever have the privilege of speaking to. Her wish would not be granted.